everyone, you found the Champ Dog. Congratulations, give yourselves a high five, little hip hip hooray, jump around the room, throw a bloody party. You've done it. So this is going to be our last video with this Grixis list that our mate Outplayed has sent us. We have a new version of the list that will be coming up soon. But as I said in the previous video, I wanted to show off a couple of the wins I got with the deck after showing off a couple of the losses. So this is going to be a pretty short intro. Don't need to go through the deck again. It's also a very long game against YORION, which I touched on in the last video. So if you don't know about YORION, a few weeks ago a couple of prominent players were talking about this deck, saying that they had pretty good results with it. It was never like a particularly high profile deck, and it sort of faded back into even further obscurity since then. But it was fun to come across it. I think it was meant to have a slightly better creature matchup than the other YORION lists. This is around the same time that the YORION list started showing its head. Anyway, we're going to jump into a game against it. We're going to have a very long game. We're going to get a win. It's going to be great. Hope you guys enjoy watching as much as I enjoyed playing. Okay, we'll take the play. YORION, huh? So this is obviously not a great hand, but it's okay. Again, slower deck, got a counter spell, got a later game threat. Blood Chief Thirst probably doesn't do much, but I've got lands and some relevant spells, so I'm not going to throw it away. Lead on a swamp, then we'll do island, then we'll make up our mind about River Glide, and then we'll go Fabled Passage. Okay, we'll do the mountain first then. Actually, no, we'll do island and then this for blue, so I have access to neutralize. Birth of Meletis, sure. Such a good little card, that. Yep, that's fine. Shark Typhoon's nice. Seagate Restoration could also be pretty nice. Even just as a land. Ooh! YORION. Spicy. Okay, so they don't have counter spells. This should be a good matchup for us then. Elspeth's Nightmare. Okay, so I suppose I have to counter that, because if I don't, they're eventually going to take my counter spell anyway. So I'm just going to do this, force them to respond. So they could play down a YORION, but they don't get they just get a card off it at the moment. That's fine. They could kill this, I still have a token, and I can exile their deck. Yep, there's YORION. I'm pretty close to being able to cast Seagate Restoration here as well, and knowing they don't have counter spells, that should be very big for us. So I think I just bounced the YORION with Ashiok. did they get rid of the Skyclave Apparition? Okay. And I think it's actually reasonable to just hardcast my Typhoon here. I should have attacked there, that was a misplay. I wasn't, I just clicked through that too quickly. Obviously they block with the wall, but it exiles 2 cards from their library. Okay, that's fine, so they've got rid of Ashiok. Lost Nightmare gets rid of my token, that's fine. I get to cast Seagate Restoration now. Draw a bunch of cards, make a 7/7. They probably take the Essence Scatter. Okay. I would have taken the Essence Scatter because I can use that to stop a YORION. Okay, so they can blink this. Yeah, so they can take the Essence Scatter anyway. Okay. Extinction event. I guess it kills a YORION. I assume they take Essence Scatter now. Yep. Maze Moan Tone, that's fine. So I'm going to kill this token just because I get another shark. This is great because they don't have counter spells. I can very much, at least for this game, dictate the pace of the game. So I do this for odd. I get a 4/4 token. And I get through for 9. And I can also start using Castle Locktwain. So set a stop. Yep. Oh, our opponent's been pretty stuck on lands as well, which is unfortunate for them. Exile my graveyard, that's fine. Okay, scoop it up. Okay, so Essence Scatter's good here. I think all of my counter spells are good. Mystical Dispute, a bit less good. For obvious reasons. Shredded Sails actually has some utility here. I'm going to cut down to just 1 Croxer just because it's so hard to cast. Shredded Sails is a maybe here. Cling to Dust. I don't think they play out of their graveyard that much. I mean, they could. Duress is probably helpful. Shark Typhoon felt good. Ashiok, as always, not so good. And I probably don't need quite this much removal. So I can cut, eliminate, cut a couple of extinction events. I like Bloodchief's Thirst is flexible, Heartless Act can hit a YORION, Extinction Event is might be useful. I assume they're going to bring in, not assume, but I feel like they might be bringing in some more aggressive options from their sideboard, so I don't want to cut down on removal too much. Maybe I just go with one Shredded Sails just to see how good it actually is. Hugin's another option that could be good here. And I probably should have brought in. I guess if we get to a game 3, I'll do that. It's just quite expensive. Okay, so like, this is awkward, and this is one of the things I've touched on before about the mana base here. So I have 2 mountains and 4 of these pathways as my only red sources. I have 2 of these in my opening hand. If I keep this hand, and I'm going to, I have to play these for blue mana, because I don't need red until later in the game to bring back Croxa. But using 2 of my 6 potential red sources early in the game for blue mana means that it's going to be really, really difficult for me to get to 2 red sources to cast Croxa later. So I think either the mana base needs a little bit of tweaking, like you could lean into red a little more heavily if you want to play Croxa, or otherwise I think maybe Croxa should only be a one-of or a none-of, just because it's quite difficult to cast. But I will keep. This is going to get me black mana on turn 1 to cast Duress, and then I have Negate held up from there. That's the plan. That or some other reworking, like there's possibly some other reworking of the mana base is an option as well. Necromentia, huh? So I'm going to take Mazemind's Tome. Oh, am I? So Omen of the Sun creates tokens that I don't have a great answer to. Necromentia is obviously, they want to hit Shark Typhoon, I assume. Yeah, I think I take Mazemind Tome and just find a way to deal with the tokens. I do still have Extinction Events in my deck. If I draw another counter spell, I can just counter it and still be able to counter Necromentia the turn after. Birth of Meletis. Yep, that's fine. I let this resolve. I'm going to play the Temple now. I'll keep Essence Scatter, knowing they have a YORION in hand. I don't know why they're tapping so carefully. So I will allow this. Okay, so it is unfortunate they start getting this card advantage, but again, I'm the one who has counter spells, so I should be favoured. It's just a little bit of an awkward hand that I'm sitting on. That's fine. I don't care about that. Okay, so this will also come in tapped at the moment. So I'm going to play this. Yeah, I maybe shouldn't have kept this hand. It's been pretty clunky. So this is fine. Patience is my win con, as CGB would say. If they don't do anything. Okay, so they do. I was going to say, if they don't do anything, we'll go for Shark Typhoon and end step. This mana base looks awful. So they're not running Liquor Form Blight, which they perhaps should be. So I think I need to play this for black. So again, if they don't do anything exciting this turn, we cycle Shark Typhoon at our end step. Buy a YORION. Now, I'm actually just going to make a 2-2 here. Use my mana a little more effectively. Creates a blocker for the tokens. And or I can just start nagging their life total as well. Okay, I would have preferred a more hard counterspell here, so obviously they can bring in YORION. I think I'll take my 2 damage while I can get it. So based on how they've sideboarded, if we get to game 3, I can take out more removal. As I said, I was expecting they might bring in some more like aggressive red elements. But they haven't really. The game plan is essentially the same. They're just trying to disrupt with Necromentia. And I mean, I suppose they have like Duress or Agonizing Remorse or something as well, so they're just trying to be more disruptive along that vein. So this is obviously pretty good for them. They can blink all of these, make more tokens, draw a card. We can Murderous Rider the YORION in their end step. And then we can play this next turn as a life-linking creature. And we can scry without Dangerous as well. Shredded Sails. It does get rid of their Maze Mind turn. Which could be important. They will still be able to draw a card in response. I think I do still do it now. But I just want to stop them pulling too far ahead in the card race. So I have left myself a little overextended. If they remove this Murderous Rider, I will be in trouble. So I'll be going down to 6. Okay. I just allow this. I could Heartless Act now so that I use it and force them to take Bloodchief's Thirst, but there's no great target for it, and then I'm left with nothing in my hand. This way, if they want to get rid of Bloodchief's Thirst, they need to work a little harder for it. Yeah, so same plan, just more disruptive. That's what they're going for here. Cool. I still think I've got a fair chance of winning this, especially if Murderous Rider doesn't get removed this turn. This is not a particularly good attack. So my life total remains the same. Sure. So do I want to cycle this, or do I want to hardcast it? I haven't seen any enchantment removal from them, but I mean, they've got to have some, right? I think it's perfectly acceptable for me to play as much of my game as I can in my opponent's turn. I think I have to allow this. I could cycle this and search for a counterspell. So if they attack with all their tokens this turn, I do lose 1 life overall. Wait. No, they get in before. I lose 2 life overall. Take it back. So I've got 8, I can make a 6/6 here. And I draw a Deliberate. So obviously I'm going to kill their YORION. That's a bit of a no-brainer. 5. So they got 9 tokens. I can block 3 of them, which would leave me on, 6 get through. I take 6, I go down to 4, I gain 2, I'm back at 6. Or I attack with my 6/6 and I'm on 5. So I block 2, take 7, I go down to 3, gain 2, get up at 5. So I think this is acceptable. especially when I have a counter spell in hand. Yeah, so I mean, we've obviously been behind for most of this match, and our hand turned out being really awkward against our opponent, which is my fault for not being familiar with the meta, not knowing how they sideboard, and also just for being overly cautious against creature-based aggro that they could sideboard in. Definitely my fault for keeping an awkward hand. That's an easy counter spell. Yeah, definitely my fault for keeping an awkward hand. So we've been behind most of this game, but it's definitely not been over. Okay, so they take the 6/6, I assume? No, okay, clever. So we die here. Oh, no, not quite. We go down to 8. So we're in trouble, but not quite dead. Do either of these get us out? Slawomir Serpent, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can cast it, but I can't gain any life. No, so neither of these are good enough. I really need an extinction event. That's not it. Oh well, game 3. Okay, so knowing what we know, I think we can bring in Ugin. We can take out the Blood Chief's Thirst. I'm really only using removal on Old Mate. YORION. Do I want the second Sails? Probably not. It really didn't feel that great. There's just a handful of key spells that I need to have answers to. I honestly think I'd rather have Mystical Dispute. And just see how we go like this. Okay, so this hand seems okay. We're hoping to scry up another untapped land, obviously. That's not an untapped land. Do I want to negate this? Not really. I honestly think I'm actually better off cycling this Neutralize to try and hit a land drop. But I think it's actually better to cycle Shark Typhoon. Excellent. Even better. So I'm going to take a little peekaboo at their hand now, because I've still got Negate held up. Heartless Act, I don't really care about. Obviously it'll kill a Shark token. But I have other answers. I think I take the Amerius Cull. Stops their land development, and it's a potentially game-breaking card later on. So our opponent's kept a really bad hand as well. I say as well, I meant like us last game. Scry to the top, that's unfortunate. buy the YORION, that's fine. I'll play this for red. I got plenty of land at the moment. I only have 2 black, but I can't get black with this anyway. I have plenty of blue, and I may need red at some point. My opponent's going to have to discard down if they don't do something. Okay, they're at 7 again. So now's where I really wish I had that Shark Typhoon so I could cycle it. Or a castle. Specifically Vantress. I don't want to take 7 damage to draw a card. Yep, that's fine. I wasn't going to use it anyway. So I'm going to grab a red, I think. Agonizing Remorse. You're going to negate that. Don't really want them looking at my hand. I mean, it's just a counterspell for a counterspell, but this way they don't get information. Vantress is nice, particularly since they've already used their Field of Ruin. They do have another one, mind you. But I should be able to get at least 1 scry off it. Yep, so they're going for the same play again. So I'm going to actually use it. There's actually no point in using it because I'm about to shuffle my library. That was just a misplay, pure and simple. So now I will get the extra swamp that I need. And if I hit a Croxa now, I'll be pretty happy. Imagine hitting a Seagate Restoration right now. Oh, chef's kiss. I'm into the Forge. Yeah, don't care about that. It's essentially a 5 mana scry 2, deal 2 damage. Oh, they didn't sack it. Strange. I mean, Shredded Sails could be helpful at some point. Essence Scatter. Look at us, just 2 dudes staring at each other from across the battlefield. I mean, I got to imagine this favors us in the long run because we're the effective counter spells. Yep, that's fine. If I see a Maze-Mind Tome, obviously I'll use Shredded Sails, otherwise I will consider cycling it at end step here. To do what? Like, just to have a threat on the battlefield? I mean, like, fine. I guess I Murderous Rider this. Just kill it off, and then I can play out my Rider. Force them to use their Heartless Act. Hey, another Murderous Rider. Oh, Shark Typhoon. That's fun. So this leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4 mana available. I think I just play this out for now. I can just cycle this at end step. Actually, I don't want to cycle it knowing that they have the Heartless Act. Croxer would be such a nice hit right now. So I'm using the Essence Scatters because they're in here specifically for YORION. That's what they're good against. Start gaining some life. I'm going to play this out as a land. I'll play this and hope they don't have enchantment removal. It's weird to me that they don't, given that they are playing white. I didn't see any last game. How much do I care about YORION right now? So I could Mystical Dispute it, force them to tap more and then neutralize. Now if they do have a final YORION here, okay, that's fine, I still got value out of it. So they can bring back a YORION when this goes off, which is a little unfortunate, to be honest. Yeah, so I actually should have cast Mystical Dispute when I had the chance there. That's also a problem, isn't it? So they can pay for... Yeah, they can pay for the Mystical Dispute, so there's no point using it there. So we could lose this next turn. When they bring back YORION, blink this. If they get lucky with a rogue proc, deal 1 damage to this. Okay, so they should have actually hit that, so when they blink YORION, they can kill the rider, but they obviously didn't see that line. Lock-Me Serpent's very nice here as well. If I play this out, how much mana do I have left untapped? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 mana left, which isn't enough, so I think I just leave it. I'm going to attack again, just keep trying to get a little bit of life, a little bit of advantage. Okay, they stack that to Scry. So they obviously want either another Elspeth or another YORION. I'm hoping for a YORION because I can deal with that a little more easily. Skyclave, so what is this going to hit? Probably my shark token. Not particularly important. I think I allow this. Can't hit the shark token, hits the rider, that's fine. Okay, so they can't sack this to draw a card. It's on ETB. Cool. I'm going to flash this in now. Block one of these things. Tapping to dust isn't actually so good here. So I can get the YORIONs out of the yard. So do I want to sack an island and make this unblockable? I think I do. The Serpent by itself is a 3-turn clock at the moment. Both of these attacking together is 10 damage that can't be contested. There's no point playing this out. So this will take them up to 13. A little bit unfortunate. I wish it hadn't tapped 2 blue sources there, but whatever, this is the world we live in. 4, 5, 6. No, I don't want Extinction Event. I mean, it gets rid of the Apparition, but doesn't do much else for me right now. Oh. So I'm currently looking at 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 13 damage that they can't block. Which seems fine. So this is exact lethal if my maths is correct. Okay, getting 3 life. If I cast this, I still have Essence Scatter held up. And a pretty big leader. So this is kind of risky, but I don't think it's a bad move per se. I was really hoping I'd hit an untapped land there. But yeah, I don't think my opponent has a lot of outs at this point. So like all of these creatures are lethal at the moment. Strange that we can just try to hit the 1/1. You know, play to their outs, but guess they could have an Extinction Event of their own. So it's better to not block the Apparition. What does this hit? Nothing. So everything, but yeah. So we got there. That was satisfying. What a game. 49.5 minutes. I didn't want to leave match, I wanted to look at the battlefield. But all of my non-token permanents there, I only had 2, Lockmere Serpent and Shark Typhoon, which are both over 4 CMC, and Apparition can't hit tokens. So there you have it. It was nice to get the win there. It was a long game, it was a grindy game, it was interactive, it was very back and forth. Everything I love about a game of Magic. I really like decks with a lot of interaction. I like playing against decks with a lot of interaction, although it can be frustrating at times. But yeah, that's the sort of Magic I love. It seems like some of the people viewing the channel sort of enjoy it too. I've gotten a lot more interaction on my control lists than other things that I've put up, so cheers to all you control fans out there. Don't ever change, we love you. But yeah, you've got an updated version of this list to look forward to. Otherwise, stay brilliant, and I'll catch you in the next video.